What do we open with?
I guess we need to figure that
Open
out.
with that beer, first of all.
Let's open with Whistle Pig.
Ooh,
We got
yeah.
Whistle Pig. So, look,
A big
Actually,
treat, ladies and gentlemen.
I noticed that we're doing this a lot. Theme song comes on, we're just like balls to the wall. We need to stop.
We need to chill.
Enjoy the music. This is the intro. It's Dudes Like Us. I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
And obviously, this is the second half because I'm slurring and
No,
Paul's on-
you said
Paul's
to
on
take it.
Mars.
No, you said to take it easy. So
Usually when you start getting a little sussed, Bill Cosby comes out, or the blue guy from Star Wars.
Hold on. Every voice he does is the blue guys from Star Wars.
Oh, come on. Is
Who
it really?
happens to be from New Jersey.
Anakin is it's so tantalizing.
It kind of morphs
God.
into his Bill Cosby impression.
It wasn't fair.
Right. And then
Give me the dice.
and then he goes
Oh,
into
let me
the
roll
ride.
again.
the pudding. I can't do it.
I sold your mother to the Zen people.
Wow. Welcome to the second half of the show.
Wow.
And Whistle Pig. We have to focus on Whistle Pig right now. Wow.
Yeah, this was a good one. I was shocked. You know,
You
first of all,
you were very hesitant.
I was. Let's share the story. So we go to our Total Wine, and
Our buddies there.
I tried to stop
Kevin
you.
shows up.
I literally
And I'm
tried
like,
to
Kevin,
stop
do you have anything? And he was like, I've got something in the back. And I'm like, we've only got one bottle. And I was like, we'll take it. And he comes out with the Whistle Pig, and it's a 4-year. It's a rye bourbon.
4 years and 3 days.
Thank you. Excuse me.
3
So-
days? Is that what it says?
It says 4 years and 3 days. I shit you not.
anything from Whistle Pig that shows up, you're kind of like, oh, let me check it out.
It makes you perk up.
I
right?
need to see what's going on over there.
But there are
And then-
typically ryes. They're the 10-year rye. You got different year ryes,
Well,
right?
this is technically it's a bourbon, which means it's not a
It's-
rye.
Well, according to them, it's their one and only bourbon.
Okay,
And
and
it's a
it's-
limited release.
and the mash bill is 51%.
That's why it is.
And check this, 49% rye. It's literally just enough corn to make it a bourbon.
This isn't even like 9-banded, for example, for the wheated bourbon is 51% corn and
It's about 40% wheat.
it's not even
It's
it's
high.
40-something percent wheat. Hey, look behind you. Grab that.
So hold on. So Whistle
Mr. Producer's
Pig,
passing the
Whistle
bottle
Pig,
of Whistle Pig over.
There's different categories of Whistle Pig. So we need to make sure we classify this because there's like a $12,000 Whistle Pig.
That's not what this is.
I know.
That is not what this is.
Either this is the farm stock bourbon.
It's the
so this is
Remington-
Whistle
the
Pig
Remington
farm
and the
stock
Rifle
bourbon.
Rye.
If you could scroll down a little bit, it's the no, the other way. When I say scroll down, I want the stuff to go down. I know that, and I'm saying it wrong. So it's 100% farm to bottle,
like,
bottled in bond, single barrel. Bottled in bond means it's proof of
100 proof and 4
100.
years. But
4
this
years.
one's got some bonus.
4 years and 3 days.
72 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
check that out. All right, so it's 51% corn, 49% rye. Which wow, big rye content, right?
Yeah, but what's interesting is it has a char 3. Don't
It's not
most-
alligator.
It's not alligator. It ain't no
Well, it's
alligator,
not a 5,
child.
but
This ain't no
a lot of
alligator
times
child.
they with a bourbon, don't
It's
they?
4s.
It's like a lot of 4s. You know, they're like kind of what they.
Well, maybe
I
the
don't-
rye, with that much rye, maybe they need to dial it back a little bit. Maybe that's what
No.
they found out.
Well, so it's a char 3 of a 5
The nose
char
is very,
system.
very strong.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
A lot going on. Not a hint of ethanol.
You know, I haven't
Hey, guys, it's
talked
only
highly
aged for 4
about
years.
a lot of bourbons
It's
before.
not like it's a 10-year, 15-year. This is a 4-year.
This farm
And
stock
there's not
bourbon
even a hint
from
of
Whistle
ethanol.
Pig, and it's a limited edition. You know, this is good.
I'd give it an 8.5.
This is good. I give it a solid. I give it an 8.5 too.
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable doing that.
This is a high one for me.
It's very, very
the
good.
the nose to me smelled like a pumpkin spice bread.
You know what's
I don't
weird
know. I don't know
is
what it
that
was.
I would score it as high as I would score Noah's Mill,
Yeah.
and they're polar opposites.
So hold on. So there was only one bottle available. So for our listeners, how realistic is it that they will find this bourbon?
Well,
this
I
was
tell
a
you-
unicorn.
well, I tell you what. When we went to Liquor King, they had about 5 bottles of this,
Oh,
but it wasn't there the week before. It was the last time we won is when I saw it.
Okay, so if you're listening and you find Whistle Pig,
I think it's going to be very hard to find.
So
Farm
hold
stock.
on. Yeah, so this is the farm stock bourbon. Farm
get
stock
it,
bourbon.
grab it.
It's
Find
it's a Whistle Pig rye bourbon. So they have tons of whiskeys. This one's a bourbon.
It was $100.
It's $100.
Well, I
You're
mean,
gonna
And
pay a
this
little
is our
more
new
for it.
strategy. So we've kind of exhausted the $50, $60 into $70 bourbons, and so now we're pooling our resources.
I think we got this the same time we got the Blood Oath.
You were out of town, I believe.
Yeah, it was just Sean and I.
Oh, when I didn't contribute to the.
Yes, you did.
Well, I don't know.
You
Did I really?
Did we ever
I
pay
hope so.
Sean this last time?
I did. You didn't.
Oh.
Oh,
I
How do you know he did?
Oh, because I have a log of every time you don't pay.
bitch.
147 times you haven't paid.
No, all right, I'll make that up.
Wow.
All right, so I owe you. It was this $39 I owe you.
Seriously, how did you know he didn't pay?
Because we were in the store and our Wells Fargo's didn't work.
Yeah, none of our systems.
Do you remember
worked.
that?
And I just now thought of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was joking. You're not.
Whatever.
You're
So
not
the idea
you're
for
not a
dudes like us
habitual
is that
offender.
dudes like us are typically not. We're not fucking rich. We're not wealthy. So what we need to do is we try to we got a couple of the money. So normally we buy 40, 50, 60, $70 bottles of bourbon each.
Yeah.
As far as the value goes. And so we want to we'll add all three of ours together and we're going to start picking up these bigger bottles.
Well, and
Well, the more expensive ones, right? The harder to not necessarily hard to find, but they are. Sometimes they're harder to
they're
find.
very eclectic tastes to them. Like this one right here, it's got a lot going on. Like the first
very nice
bourbon that we had earlier today, the double dice. What was it?
Tumbling dice.
The tumbling dice. That had a farmy taste to it. Well, this one is known. It's farm stock bourbon. It's got a farmy taste to it too. It's not as vivid and punchy as the Whistle Pig is.
And it's so hard to articulate like the difference. Like, what's the difference between this and the tumbling dice? But man,
it's quite drastic, the difference in flavor.
I think a lot of it has to do with the dilution, and I know I don't.
Well, they're both 100.
They're both 100.
But they've both been.
But it's the dilution is what I'm getting at. So
they've both been. I just sent you the money. They've both been.
Oh.
Is this?
Well, hold on.
This is a
Tumbling
single
dice.
barrel.
So tumbling dice was aged for 2 weeks, right?
I don't know.
Tumbling dice was okay.
It wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad.
I would not kick tumbling dice out of
I was
bed.
making a joke. But how long was it aged? Because that's
3
what's
years.
amazing.
3
This
years.
was only 4 years.
It was
guys. There's
it
a
was
lot of
aged for
bourbons.
3 years.
So the thing that's
There's
interesting.
a lot of bourbons that we see on the shelf that are aged 4 years, and we're like, eh. This is 4 years and 3 days.
Yeah, but it has a lot to do with the culture of taste that's put in.
I get it. It's the mash bill. I get
we
it.
need to be careful with ourselves that we don't get too snobbish looking at the age, the proof, because I think we're going to exempt a lot of these bourbons that are going to be good. Like if we looked at this with, it's only 4 years, screw that.
Well, that's my point.
It's only 95
that is exactly
proof.
my
Screw
point.
that.
That's true.
Exactly my
but
point.
Unfortunately, there's a diamond in the rough every now and then. So if you're a betting person,
Well, that's what I mean.
You're not gonna bet on an 80 proof bottle of booze.
80.
So let me go back to that. Let me go back to the 80 proofs. So why are we avoiding 80, 90 proofs? We've gotten to the point if it's not 100 plus.
Because we could drink that like water at this point.
So here's the reason. I'll tell you the exact reason.
By the way, there's some $100 bourbons that are 80 proof.
From my point of view, Garrison Brothers. From my point of view, the reason why I don't want to ever buy another 80 or 90 is because if anybody's going to dumb down the proof, it's going to be me. I want to start high in the proof area and dumb it down myself. I want the barrel strength
with a cube.
Yeah.
Because we know.
Because there's sometimes you're coming, hey, look, I want the barrel strength. I want that taste. And then as you're drinking it, you're like, all right, I want to throw a cube in. All right, I want to throw another cube in. You know what? I want to try some water. I want to try some club soda. I want to try an old fashioned. I want to try, that's how you build that up.
And I think what the industry has learned over the last 100+ years, right, is that if you're going to sip your bourbon, most people don't want more than 80, 90 proof.
I guess if you're sipping it without any
I think if you're mixing it, you don't want anything over 80, 90 proof.
No, I'm saying
I think if
just,
you're sipping it,
I'm
you
just
want
saying,
the flavor of it.
I'm saying taste wise, like just burn and. A lot of people are like,
So if you have
this is harsh. I can't handle
Well,
this.
we had to work up to it.
If you have
I know, but I
Glencairn
think
glass and it's filled with 80 proof Jack Daniels.
My point is,
something.
most of the world would prefer to drink an 80, 90 proof bourbon straight than they would 100 plus.
Sure,
but I got
they're not used to it.
I don't.
And that's why.
I don't believe
that.
most of the world enjoys the taste of that, though. I really don't. I don't. I don't think people pick up a glass of 80 proof anything and be like, "Oh, that tastes good." No, I don't. They're not. I really don't. I don't believe it.
Well, you shoot.
It's an acquired taste.
But then why?
Hell, beer is an acquired taste.
But guys, do you
remember the first time you took a beer?
The vast majority of bourbons we've looked at, 80, 90 proof. Vast majority. So why? Why is that? Because they're expecting you to mix it with something?
Well,
I don't think so.
Well, no, because they could make more of it.
Well, because I think that
I can make more 90 proof. I can make 100 bottles instead of 75 bottles.
But
yeah,
but they're not going to do that if the people they are catering to don't like the taste of it.
Well, I mean,
like if they feel like it's diluted or too light. I think they're catering to a taste of the industry that is. They like to sip a bourbon that's 80, 90 proof because it doesn't burn. It doesn't burn. It's got flavor.
Let's also bring to the surface that the bourbon industry in itself is exploding. Okay, let's talk about this because this was on the news this week.
We need to make our own bourbon.
Fox News put this out earlier today.
I would love that.
The Bourbon Trail.
I would love that.
Is that what it's called? The Bourbon Trail?
Right.
All right. Bourbon Trail was featured on Fox News earlier this week.
Oh, yeah.
And they said that they're at an all-time high.
For visitors,
$8 or $9 billion that have been put into the region from tourists coming in, which is fantastic for them.
And we've been
super
talking
happy
about doing that.
And here's the thing, I think there are trends. There was when you had the beer, there are a lot of beer trends that were out there. Hoppy beer started coming along, the Rogue beer started coming and had hundreds of different beers.
IPA.
Well, not just IPAs, but I'm talking about the name brands. What is the IPA? The
Dogfish.
Dogfish is another brand that comes up with a super variety. There are so many competitors out there.
Yes.
And I think that most drinkers, they start with beer and they get hard into beer. And like I was. I mean, Jeff was. I mean, we started and I think bourbon is the same thing. And I think as a culture, the United States, most people here weren't ready to really dive into, because I mean, think about it. In the 80s, 90s, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, they were at a low. No one really bought that. It was like the true alcoholic bought that.
Yeah, you were the alcoholics who bought that.
Well,
it kind of had a stigma.
Just think about it.
Really?
Yeah, you came out with the brown.
Absolutely.
You're saying hard liquor had a stigma?
It did in my town.
It did.
Where I grew up.
It did across the globe. And not only just that, but it did. This is like a thing as far as alcoholics go. Now I believe that there's become a more appreciation as people start to, just like the beer. I think, I'm telling you, just like the beer, bourbon has exploded. I mean, think about what the bourbon shelf looked like 5 years ago at Total Wine. You did not have this variety.
Oh,
it is
you need to go back a little bit further, but I know what your point is.
My point is, even like the beers, 30 years ago, you had so many contributors there that were providing a variety of beer. And it's the same thing. Just the fact that Fox News put out that bourbon broadcast where they were saying $9 billion was put into circulation into the touristy areas of the Bourbon Trail says a lot.
A lot.
And look about us. How much bourbon we've purchased. We basically have...
Well, I've added mine up. It's been $81 since we started.
We're well beyond that.
Man, look, honestly...
Well, we have about 180 bottles.
Think about
it.
If we average $50 a week, we're $200 down a month easily.
Do you remember when you had to build a new shelf and you took everything out and put it on this table, our podcast table.
Yes.
I looked at this. I looked at that. And I quickly sized it up in my mathlete, Albert Einstein way. And I was like, oh.
Did you bring out your fat Crayolas?
I was like, oh my God.
Like, the wife doesn't need to see this.
I was like, the amount of money that's sitting on this table.
It's obscene.
It's obscene.
It's
obscene. I
told
you I was at Total Wine, and they're
later,
like, you should get a $5 discount. You spent $1,300 in the last 2 months. I was like, shh. Not so loud.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I was like, how is that even possible?
My wife drinks a lot of wine.
I was like, somebody stole my wallet.
And your father-in-law standing next to you. He's
yes, he's looking at me like, you're worse than I am. Shut your mouth.
That is funny. That is funny.
It is an investment, but I consider it a hobby, if you want to call it a hobby.
Totally
right?
a hobby.
It is. And you know what? Here's the flip side of that. There are dads. There are dudes like us that will go out on the town, and you'll go spend 3 times the amount that
Strip
you will.
joints.
Not necessarily that. Just
hookers,
bars.
All nude.
Hookers.
Oh my God!
What the hell's wrong with you? There's a dude like us that hook up with hookers. No, he's saying
go get some tattoos and
he's
piercings.
saying how easy would it be for dudes like us to go out and go to dinner and spend $113?
Oh, you could easily do that.
Easy. I mean,
we've done that.
Well, that's my point. Is that as
so
you become
easy to spend money.
As you become more professionally cultivated with your life, just period. If you become more mature and you learn, look, we're all idiots.
Professionally cultivated.
Oh,
yeah.
Professionally.
I want you to send an audio file out. We need to be culturally.
Well, when I say professionally, I'm talking about what we're doing as a hobby. We're trying to figure out how we're the whole bourbon scheme.
Right.
I mean, this is what we're doing, and that and the
learning.
CNC machine.
Right. We're learning. We're learning about.
But the money that we're spending, we're talking about the money we're spending every single week on this. I'm trying to downgrade this because there are like students out there. Well, but think about you when you went out. Like for you, example, back when you got your ears pierced and you were going out at the bars every single night. How much money did you spend every single night?
I'd bring a 5 with me.
$5?
Yes. I could bring a pitcher for $2.
Yeah, that doesn't count. When you're binge drinking for any coin
I'm
drinks.
not talking about any coin
I'd
drink
go to
night.
the ATM machine at college and pull out a 5.
drinks.
I'm not talking about college night.
I got blown up. I got blown up grabbing coins out of my,
I am talking about
penny jar.
Right before you met Julie.
Oh,
when you would go out on the town, even if you were
when you were a young professional
you were
before
spending
Julie,
but
30, 40, $50 going out.
Oh yeah,
probably not that much because I was not buying nice drinks.
Well, you were.
I was not buying mixed drinks.
On.
I was
you were
buying
a young professional with your brand new money.
I had no money.
Say number. Say 20. Was it $20?
$20 probably.
All right. So 20 times 7 is 140.
A night?
Yes.
I was not spending $20.
No. A week. 20 times 7. If you did that every night.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If I did it every night. I didn't go out. Well, actually, I did for a while.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is that
young professional, Mr. Big Spender?
Most professionals out there will go out there and do that. Look, come on, that's what you do. That's what the kids do, and it's because they're ignorant. They don't know any better.
Right, and they're poisoning their bodies.
That's why I'm saying that we're professionals.
Oh.
We only do this once a week.
What would you say? We're cultivating.
We're professional cultivation. I don't even know what the fuck it's.
Yeah, I don't know what you said either. But
my point is,
it was incoherent.
It did not make sense.
I am incoherent right now.
It did not make sense.
It could have made sense if you would open your mind.
Slurring.
Well, it's the second half. It's okay.
I know. And we're drinking an amazing bourbon.
The amount of money that we're spending isn't that bad. I mean, when you look at it on a paper,
it's a fun hobby.
It's $200 a month ish. Okay?
I like the fact that we have we pooled our resources to
I enjoy it.
into bridge into this new echelon.
Well, because we
bourbons.
do have to slow down because we're running out of room.
There's actually no reason. Yeah, there's no reason for us to be pulling in 3 bourbons a week. We have one podcast.
I've already told Jeff
or 2.
I stomped out this whole program he's got working over there. I disagree with it. I didn't think it was going to work in the first place. Now it's living proof because he's running out of space.
Well, we can fix that.
Well, we didn't think we were going to have 200 bottles of bourbon.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you met us?
Well, I figured we'd finish some bottles.
I thought you were a mathlete. Couldn't
Yeah.
you go, okay, at the current rate, we're buying 3 bottles
Probably
of
should have done the math.
Yeah.
Probably should have.
Take carry the one logarithmic. Yeah, that's a whole bunch.
And then
That's
Paul,
another shelf.
Paul's times 2 because he buys Williamsburg and shit like that.
Stop it!
Yeah,
I haven't bought a bad bourbon in quite a while.
We need to get rid of some of those bourbons so we can
with the coconut
infinity bottle it.
Coconut bourbon is amazing.
Oh, it is amazing.
I gave it a 9.7.
It's called a rum. Right? Malibu.
So
Right.
the Whistle Pig farm stock bourbon, fantastic. I give it a thumbs up, and like both Paul and I said, it's 8.5.
I give it 3 thumbs up.
3. Wow, is that your penis?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, a big thumb and 2 little thumbs up.
Well, you said you had like a bunch of foreskin you're dealing with, though.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but I'm mustering that to go with Whistle Pig.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, did he really say foreskin?
Well, you guys were discussing it earlier.
Sorry, can
when
we
you
go
came
back,
in,
can
you were
we
like,
go back to that, Mr. Producer?
you were
Did
talking
say,
about
All right, so
downsizing.
what kind of contemporary world affairs do we got going on? I mean, Biden got COVID, and he's
and still alive?
He just came out. You know what he said today?
I think he has monkeypox too.
So he came out and
You know how he got that?
he was explaining to the world
From Hillary.
that, you know what, here guys, here's the deal. If you don't want to get COVID, go ahead and get your boosters and get your shots out there.
Because you won't get it.
Yeah, it'll make it easier.
I mean,
And-
there's footage of him out there saying that.
and I'm thinking, man, what? You're an idiot. You got COVID. And, and the doctors are going on the air. It's like, oh, it's like, did you eat all your food? Did you eat all your food, Mr. Biden?
I know, I saw
President
that.
Biden? And he lifted those plates and, I ate all my food.
Eat all your food. What does that mean?
Yes.
That means he's like, did you eat your food? Did you eat your plate? Did you eat your meal?
Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
No, there's the
doctor said that.
The doctor said that on the podium.
Yeah, and he says, and then the
What,
president.
like he's like a freaking nursing home?
Yeah.
Kind of like, yes.
Oh, did you eat your
good boy.
Did you eat your food? Did you eat all your tapioca
you
pudding? Did you eat all your
kidding? Are you-
tapioca pudding?
Okay,
No.
I can't do this.
Oh,
I can't
my
handle
God.
this.
It's a beatdown. It's embarrassing because other countries are out there like, really? And then he gets on there and he's talking about COVID and he's got his go fast fucking sunglasses on like I'm the fucking badass on the planet. I used to pilot aircrafts, but I didn't really. But if I put these glasses on, I'm so cool.
And I fell off my bike.
And I did.
Did you see? I don't know if it's true, but did Google rename that Brandon Falls? I saw a bunch of headlines. I don't know if it's true or not, though.
What, the street?
I guess that location
Oh, my God.
where that happened.
Brandon Falls.
Like Brandon Falls. I saw the headlines.
No, where he fell off his bike.
Brandon Falls briefly lands on Google
wow.
Maps.
Oh,
And that's from Google. How did that happen?
no.
People went in there and started making edits.
Oh, they made their own edits. Brandon Falls.
All right, so it's showing the Google map, and there's a
Oh,
little
my God.
red dot.
It
and
says
that's,
historical
and it's
landmark.
called
This is historical landmark.
Brandon Falls.
That's funny.
Oh, that is kind of funny, and it's funny because they did other things too. Though they took a spray paint silhouette of where he fell.
Well, there's a lot of people taking like pictures and posting it where they act like they're falling off the bike.
You know what? At the end of the day, this is elderly abuse, guys. I'm telling you. It is. It's so bad. Oh, did you hear that?
I don't feel
Hold
bad
on,
about
Jill
it at all.
Biden. Jill Biden leaving the ice cream store, getting heckled. They were saying your husband is the worst.
Oh, I saw that.
What?
And
did
she's
it
like,
say?
"Thank you,
Yeah, Jill Biden. I'm sorry, Doctor Jill Biden, getting heckled as she leaves an ice cream store by people who are just
fed up."
angry. This
One
nation,
of the 81 million.
guys. This
that voted for
angry.
him.
This nation.
It's deplorable.
This nation is angry. They are.
Well, we're disgruntled. We're
We have an
tired of being
angry
beat
nation.
down, and and you got like, what's that fucker's name? The Mr. COVID. Fauci. All right. He's coming back and he's like, oh, monkeypox. Now, isn't he retiring?
Yeah,
At the end
retire,
of Biden's
please.
term,
Oh, is that what it is? Oh.
because he knows that if a Republican gets in there, he's just going to get canned.
Oh, dude, he'll get euthanized.
I know I'm digging up painful things here, but let's go over this again. Biden got more votes than Obama. He got more votes than Trump, who got the most votes that would have been the most votes ever in presidential history.
Correct.
He's so popular, even though his party are not on board with old white men.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just kind of summarizing here.
And they want him to they want him to basically quit at this point.
Yeah, old white men. Thank you. They are begging him not to. 2 years into it, begging him not to finish his term, not to run for re-election.
Correct.
So let's review that again.
Unbelievable.
Record number of historic presidential votes, and they don't want him to finish. Don't want him to run again. Really, is there anybody that honestly, objectively can't say that there wasn't something monstrously suspicious about this election?
That's the problem.
White man.
That's the problem. You're a conspiracy theorist. There's no proof, supposedly.
And you see all these tidbits of news articles that pop out. And Arizona comes out and it says legislation just approved the fact that they just discredited this. And then they're like, all right, cool. And then you hear nothing. And what is, see.
But there isn't nothing. So Arizona and Wisconsin are quietly putting in motion legislation to make sure there's election integrity. So they're doing it, but not saying that the election was stolen. Do you find that interesting?
Well,
they're being very careful about not being quacks and weirdos and conspiracy theorists and saying that the election was stolen, but they're adding legislation to make sure that the election is secure and that is, the integrity is protected.
Right.
What they're doing is it's basically they go in and they say, well, if you're going to cheat, what are the ways that you could potentially cheat?
Right.
And they're like,
because they did.
And not saying they did or didn't. That's what you're saying.
I am.
But they're saying these are the reasons they could have. And so, all right, well, we're going to eliminate these reasons that they could have. So moving forward, our next election, we're going to omit these opportunities.
Yeah. And
the drop boxes, I think, are going away.
Yeah. And you mentioned the 2,000 mules and drop boxes, right?
Right.
So what's interesting about that whole thing, and I'll confess, I haven't watched it, but I know
it's very condemning.
But I know all the details about it, right? So what they did
I thought we watched it.
I watched it.
No, I have not.
I have not yet.
I can't wait to
watch it.
We
had a Dudes Like Us night, and I think Paul was in Afghanistan or something.
Well, it was
or Iraq.
Not a complete Dudes Like Us because I wasn't there. And I'm
Mozambique.
Like
I think you were in Mozambique that night.
Mozambique. Yeah, I think it was. Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Zimbabwe. That's where we...
You were bobbing up and down at some dude's dick?
Named Zib?
Zib?
We were learning things about the silverback gorillas.
And his dick name was what way?
Wow.
So Zib was bobbing on way. Go on.
Wow. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
We were watching the movie.
I don't know if you have these. I don't know if these are prepared statements, or whether you're just pulling this shit right out of your ass. But it's frightening.
Yeah, it was frightening.
I gotta say,
Jeff and I watched it. It was condemning.
Okay, so what I'll say about 2,000 Mules is they dummied it down. Not dummied it down. They constrained their requirements to say we're only going to track the mules that visited 10 or more times. Like
correct,
right?
Yeah. So there were many more.
Not 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Like the people that went to the same drop boxes less than 10 times, right?
Right.
Over and over again, and it was just a little section here, just a little section here, just a little section here. I'm telling you guys, it was rampant.
It was well coordinated.
And you got Ilhan Omar. She was actively harvesting ballots and paying people for it, and nothing happens.
That's why
amazing.
That's why I not that I question any of this, but if it was that coordinated, why isn't there proof out there?
Because it gets discredited.
If there's that many people involved,
there's no one that's reporting it.
Thousands of people involved. Someone at some point
and be killed. by the Clinton Foundation?
Well, they could have, right? But someone should have sneaked through and says, "Yeah, I did this."
I think they have, and then
I
they got shut down.
that.
There were people that came forward. There were observers that came forward and said, totally inappropriate.
You had Rudy Giuliani that was going around the country.
They came forward,
and they had nonstop court hearings,
and they were vilified.
These people
demonized.
Yeah, they were. And it was
demonized as quacks. And who's going to come forward after that?
They discussed how villainized they were. They discussed exactly the procedures they were taking. It's like I was the only Republican in there, and then when they kicked me out, everyone was applauding because I was the only Republican. And they were. It's because
unbelievable.
They had stacks that they were running through the machines.
Yeah,
and they weren't even allowed to go over to the machines due to COVID. So they had to witness it from a distance
because of COVID.
And then when they wanted to go there and look closer, they were just like, "What are you doing? You need to get back. All right, you know what? You
need to get out.
One foul, you're out. You're out."
Yeah, when they were reviewing them in one county, there was a smudge mark that was on every single ballot. Over and over and over and over again. A smudge mark.
What does that tell you? Like it went through a machine?
Oh, they were Xeroxing the shit out of these ballots. The same smudge mark on every single one of them. And the whistleblower was like, yeah, that doesn't look right.
So let's
move on. Let's move on because that's 2016.
I shouldn't have gone there.
And it's just, it's frustrating because, look, here's a real thing. We want real safe votes.
Yeah,
we want, and we feel like we're being ripped off.
Here's the thing: if the nation the nation votes Democrat, the nation votes liberal, it is what it is. I'll take it.
Yeah, agreed.
I'll be upset, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll lick our wounds, move on to the next thing.
But I want it to be like you just said. I want to be an election that we can all trust. All trust.
And that's both parties,
the whole nation.
Well, did you see what some of the Democrats are pushing now? They want term limits for the Supreme Court for 18 years.
Oh, but not themselves.
Yeah.
Not the Senate, not the senators, and not the congressmen.
So they want 18-year term limits. So every 2 years, a Supreme Court would fall off. So every president would nominate 18 years. 18 years because there's 9.
Okay.
So every 2 years,
so you got to stagger
now.
You got to stagger them.
I mean, did they set the Did they set the amount of Supreme Court?
No, the article didn't go over that. But in the article, does it make sense to have term limits on Supreme Court? Maybe.
Yes.
We could talk about that.
Yes. The answer is yes.
But their logic or their reasoning on why they want to do this is their butt hurt. They're butt hurt at the current makeup of this, and they're like, it's not fair,
right?
And we need to fix it.
I do think
that's their motivation. It's not that they really want to limit time. It's what just happened is not fair, and we need to get the control.
It was short-term goals.
Correct.
I don't think of all the people out there, I think the Supreme Court justices shouldn't have. I think because those guys are wise, and they're there for a reason.
I disagree.
18 years is a long time.
Yeah, it is.
If you're in there, what's the average age?
I think 50?
That means you're in there 68, 70?
Instead of having term limits, then cut them off at a certain age. That's what I would do.
I say both. I say term limits and age limit.
Yeah, I have no problem with term limits on the Supreme Court, but I question their motives to do it now.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Well, 18, it's very strategic. You know what? And I don't necessarily agree that we should not do it, but you can't put term limits on the Supreme Court and not do it in the Congress or the House.
That's right. Agreed.
House
or Senate. Yes. Yes, that's what you meant.
Right. I think at the same time, if you want to do term limits on the Supreme Court, all right, we need to look at all term limits for the House and the Senate.
100%.
So if the Supreme Court's 18, all right, House, you're 6, so that's 3 terms, right?
Yeah.
Senate, you're 12 years, that's 2 terms.
I say 2 terms, period.
Well, for the House, it's 2-year term, right? So that's 6 years.
I still would.
Here's the thing.
Maybe three terms.
I find it would be tough to get people to fill those positions.
No,
I don't think so.
I disagree.
They see it as money.
No, they won't. That's what changes. Now we don't have career politicians anymore.
No, that's true.
Right? So people will go because back to the root and the background and the real driving force of why you want to represent your county,
is to represent your country and for pride and
your state.
Well, yeah, your
So
area,
remember, let's go back
district.
Let's go back to the beginning. If you got picked to go all the way to Washington D.C. on a fucking buggy, on a horse-drawn carriage, all the way to D.C. because you wanted to make sure that D.C. didn't screw you, those crazy ass people over in D.C. You got picked, right? You might have run and whatever, but you went there and you couldn't wait to get home. You couldn't wait to get home.
Right.
But you went there because you cared about the people back home, and then you argued your case. You made sure that the laws made sense for your state and for your county, and you went home. Now, they couldn't care less about, I shouldn't say that. They do care about the constituents because they want to get reelected.
No, they only care outside.
But it's a career. It's a career
outside
now.
of a few, like Joe Manchin. I think Joe Manchin is
what a stud.
Henry Cuellar down there in South Texas. I think he's another Democrat who listens to his constituencies.
Yeah.
And Christian Cinema is another one.
Yeah.
There's a handful.
There are.
And that listen to their constituents. And I'm doing the best for who I support.
Right.
They're doing it the correct way.
Right. And that's the way it should be. It's 100% the way it should be. But that's not the way it is. They're career politicians now.
Because the other ones
they get inducted into this club, and they're there for life.
And you need to support the Democrat message or the Republican message.
Oh, yeah.
If you
Toe
don't,
the line.
You're on the outside.
Toe the line.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And it's both parties.
Pelosi says, Pelosi says this. McConnell or says this. Toe the line.
Correct.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
No.
So
if we do term limits, that goes away. That literally goes away.
Back to Taiwan and Pelosi.
Yeah.
And how about the Pelosi freaking the trades that with her Paul Pelosi was doing?
Oh, the insider trading? Oh, come on, Sean. That's scandalous. Why would you even suggest that?
Did anything happen with that?
No,
nothing.
Well, first you got a DWI.
That went away.
It went away. Then he buys not just like $10,000 or maybe if you're a really wealthy American, like middle class, $50,000. He buys $1 million worth of chip stocks. I'm sorry. So how many in your neighborhood, guys, do you know could buy $1 million worth of chip stocks?
Outside of you, Paul, none.
Well, so I bought $10 million. And I also, so Pelosi's grandson plays on the same basketball team as my son.
You go to the same skate park?
They go to the same skate park, and her dog plays with my dog.
Is she one of your tier ones?
No.
You eat that ice cream?
We don't get ice cream. Anyway, so it's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't get how. I know how it's done because she's the Speaker of the House, and it's going to get swept under the rug, just like Hunter Biden.
He buys $1 million worth of chip stocks, and less than a week later, they vote on giving subsidies to chip making companies
to build here in the States.
Yes, massive subsidies, massive tax breaks.
Well,
and she says he has nothing. He has no knowledge of what I'm doing.
Oh, I talk in my sleep, though.
I do. I talk in my sleep because I'm not going to be mean.
Yeah.
I'm stopping it right there. Sean, hey, how you doing?
I'm checking out the Pelosi to Taiwan would be a career capstone despite the warnings.
What's she doing over there?
She's the pansy. She won't go.
No, you don't think?
Nope.
What is she planning on doing?
She loves China. Are you kidding me?
Well, her interest in traveling to Taiwan presents a powerful diplomatic capstone. It also contributed to tensions at the highest levels in Washington and Beijing among officials who worry a trip could prove provocative as the U.S. balances a high-stakes relations with China, blah, blah, blah.
You want to hear my prediction? She's going to say she has monkeypox and can't go.
She's been hanging out on Biden's dick.
Well, his butt.
Wow. Yeah, that's true, too.
Okay,
so
stop
she said,
it.
This is not a one-time, one-off publicity stunt, said Chu, whose father was among those who met with Pelosi and the U.S. lawmakers 3 decades ago in Hong Kong. 30 years later, she's still connected to those guys.
Of course. She loves China, guys. They put her on the map. Like they funded. I guarantee they funded.
I don't know any of that Pelosi history.
I don't either, but I guarantee they're a friend to her, and she understands it. All right, I don't want to talk about politics. You know what I want to talk about?
Sex.
First times.
Ooh, sex first times?
No, anything first times. First time kiss. First time first time you got drunk.
All right. I'll tell you what. Here's the first time. I'll tell you right now.
Let's talk about first times.
This was in El Paso, Texas. Okay. In our neighborhood, we lived in a military housing.
Compound.
This was a big Army airfield. They had it's right
airfield?
Biggs Army airfield in the inside Fort Bliss, basically.
I didn't know you're Air Force?
No.
Your father.
Okay, hear what the words I'm saying.
You said airfield, sorry.
Biggs Army airfield.
Okay.
All right. So
Army doesn't have an Air Force.
All right, just
Navy has an Air Force.
Just move on.
Air Force has an Air Force.
It doesn't matter.
Army doesn't have an Air Force.
No, they don't have an Air Force. They have airplanes and pilots. They're not calling it an Air Force.
Yeah, like Top Gun. Were those naval pilots?
They were naval pilots. They weren't Air Force pilots on a Navy boat.
That's what I said. Navy and Air Force, but not Army.
All right.
So Army doesn't have pilots?
I'm asking.
Yes, they do.
They have helicopter pilots.
Yeah, they do helicopter. The Apache.
So first times. So the first times, I did a couple things out there in the desert for the first times. Out in the El Paso desert. So riding a little dirt bike motorcycle.
Was that your first murder?
Well, I did. I ran over something. I don't know what the hell it was.
First murder? Is that what you said?
I was just guessing. Out in the desert?
I hop on this one of my friend's motorcycles because everyone can ride a bicycle. Most people do, and if those that can, I apologize. I'm not making fun of you if you're an idiot, but I'm just saying.
Or have just one leg.
Yeah, or just one leg.
It's hard to ride a bicycle with one leg.
Or no arms.
Well, they have the. Those
use a unicycle, I guess.
Damn.
With no arms. Wow.
That was.
This became a very insensitive podcast.
So we don't do.
And
video.
the guy in Brazil has no arms.
And he rides a unicycle.
And he has because he only has one leg.
So I hop on. One of my friends like, hey,
I really hope he
have you ever gone on a motorcycle or a dirt bike before? I said no, I have never done that. And he was like, well, it's easy. This is the clutch. It's on the left hand, and the gear is 1 down, 4 up. Or 4 up, 1 down. I forget exactly what it was.
1 down,
and
1 down, 5 up.
And depending on what the bike is.
That's mine.
So it's I get on the bike and I'm riding seamless. Okay, I'm like it's going around corners. It's fucking easy and it's a blast.
Yes.
So the first time ever riding a little dirt bike, I was having a blast because out in the desert is very interesting because it's got all these divots out of nowhere.
Did you Knievel it over the Snake?
Where was
Snake
this
Canyon?
Again?
El Paso, Texas.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
where'd you get the bike from?
It was my friends. He was a friend. He was out there. We were all hanging out.
How fun would that be?
And we weren't drinking or anything like that. It was just we're just hanging out.
Well, you're young.
And there were a bunch of kids,
and
several of them had little bikes. And we had my mom won the Pepsi sweepstakes back then, and she won this little 4-wheeler from Honda.
What?
And it was like a little 50cc, 49cc 4-wheeler. And we were having a blast. It was a blast.
She won the Pepsi sweepstakes.
Do you remember the Pepsi sweepstakes? You open it up and
are you kidding me?
And you look at the bottom of the thing and like,
and she literally won something?
Yeah,
like
she won something. Yeah, she won. We won a little 4-wheeler.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that's won anything like really like in a sweepstakes.
Right. Yeah, it was very exciting.
That's very exciting.
Oh yeah. So I get on the motorcycle and or the I want to say wet bike. Yeah, the dirt bike.
Dirt bike.
And so I'm driving and my foot hits something. I don't know what it is. I swear to God, I fucking broke it. But I never went to the doctor or anything like that. Yeah, for some reason I was.
Which foot? Left foot or
left
right foot?
Left foot. So I'm driving, and then whack, and something fucking hit my foot, and I was like, God.
It was a cactus.
Well, it could have been whatever. So I stopped. It was the first time. So I was like, all right, I'm done.
I broke my foot.
I think I broke my foot, yeah. And it was sore for months after that. And
probably like a rock or something.
Oh, but I was afraid to tell. I couldn't tell my mom. She was like, "How'd you hurt your foot?" I was
because you weren't
driving
allowed to be doing this.
It's driving a dirt bike, Mom.
I was just riding my bike and I ran into something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't. She
sees through your shit,
dude. She's a Jedi.
Yeah.
No, you just had a habitual lying problem.
No, I never had problems with that.
Yeah. Imagine.
So that was my first time out there. It was the desert, and it was a blast. There was a lot of amazing things out there in the desert, of El Paso.
Like dead bodies.
Well, there was
skeletons.
Shallow graves.
I may have shared one of my trips
skeletons.
There was I told you I worked for a bar, and we've talked about the bar before. Well, the manager at the time, he had a CJ7 Jeep, and I think I may have shared with you that he took us out way out into that mine cave or mine shaft, and we went down in there. That was
very safe.
Well, it was, of course, it was not, but it was so exciting.
Yeah, that's the ultimate.
Because it's dangerous.
Oh, that's the young teenagers.
You don't think what could go wrong.
Oh,
well,
nothing.
I mean,
you could end up upside down.
Well, it was cool. It was cool. It was a cool moment for someone like me, and being young, and just. It was one of those things that, thank God my parents didn't know because I would have been killed. But I think about my kids now, and I'm like, oh, my God, what the fuck are they doing?
Because we have deserts all around us.
Well,
we do have creeks with tunnels and stuff.
There are creeks and sewer
we have
lines.
sewers that go underneath the streets that you can surf on water.
Wow.
Or whatever it is they did.
My story wasn't very exciting, but it was
first.
It was the first time, I mean...
what about you, Jeff? Have you ever been on a motorcycle? A dirt bike?
My dad used to ride. I never rode one when he was, but I'd ride with him. But
was it side saddle?
No, it was small.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Did you have goggles?
Honda.
You never see that. You never see sidecars or whatever. Sidecars.
You should get one.
Yeah.
You and Shelly.
Well, I have a passenger seat, so she wouldn't have to be in a side.
No, she like sit right next to
the get a sidecar. I'll go in there. I'll put the goggles on. I'll put the whole outfit on.
That would seem very unstable. You're just like going out there going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No control.
I feel like I would think we'd flip over and the person in the sidecar would be like
catapult.
Boom.
Yeah, but I think that as long as that sidecar is super stable,
super heavy,
just solid.
And if you're in it.
Oh, well, it's going to be heavy for sure if I'm in it. But I meant because it's like an egg. I just meant as long as it has bars over it.
I didn't mean that.
Like if it just had like a little...
you're open.
You want a cage?
Yeah,
I want to be in a cage. Are you kidding me?
No. You see those...
You want to be in a cage with roll bars.
No, it needs to be like a World War II bike, Nazi bike, where they're just sitting there.
Yes. You don't get to be...
Nothing.
Okay, time out. I'm sorry. What sidecar have you seen that has roll bars and a cage?
Well, this is 2022.
They don't make
front
that.
door.
I'm going to have a roll cage.
No.
I'm not going to be decapitated because of your freakish driving.
Sorry, bro. You're out.
Yeah.
All right, so back to...
You think he's going to hop in there?
So hold on. So you rode on the bike with your father?
Well, with my father when he was riding his bike.
What kind of bike was it?
Oh, it was a small, like a Honda 200. It was really small.
Why? So why would he have that?
Well, he was save money for gas.
So he used
it to go to work.
To commute? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he did it to commute, and he would take it when he was a huge runner.
I mean, can you imagine the gas on a motorcycle is nothing.
Well, I get 50 miles per gallon on mine.
Well, his was much smaller than that,
which probably gets a lot better.
Right.
Lighter.
Right.
It's lighter.
He gave it up because he almost got hit a couple times, and he almost hit people himself, and that's when he realized, hey, if I can't see that person on the bike, that means they don't see me when I'm on my bike.
No,
so
I get it.
He sold it. So, yeah, the first bike I rode, is there a bike?
Plus, you can't watch Netflix or, anything like that.
Well, you can.
Yeah, well.
I'm sure you'd find a way.
I would.
If there's anyone that can find a way, it's Sean.
You'd have like a big 10-inch tablet up there.
Oh, I'd have it in the visor.
It's a wraparound, panoramic.
I would own a $12,000 bike and a $30,000 helmet that would have the visual.
Which auto auto drives or whatever you call it.
The Tesla version.
Yeah, the Tesla version.
Yeah, the first bike I actually drove, is there a bike out there called a Vulcan or something like that? I don't know if it's a Honda or what.
I was just about to say that sounds like a Honda to me.
Yeah,
Honda Vulcan, really?
No,
that you rode like you.
Well, yeah, being a friend of mine had it, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to try it?" Yeah, there it is. Looked like that big old thing.
Where? Which one? The Vulcan. There we go. Vulcan bobber.
They've got all kinds.
I don't know. It was big, but
they look angry.
They all do. They look angry.
It was a big bike. It actually looked a Kawasaki Vulcan right there. That's it right there.
Kawasaki Vulcan.
Yeah, same color.
Oh, click on that. The 1990 Kawasaki Vulcan. There we go.
That's actually it right there. Looked just like that.
It's got a little banana seat in the back for you.
Oh, that's nice.
And that was the first one that I had ever attempted to ride, and I rode it. And it's probably in 1990 because I was probably, I was just out of college when I did that.
And this is your buddy's bike.
Yeah,
he let you, brand new bike. He let you ride it.
Yeah, he goes, "Hey, you want to go take it for a spin?" I was like,
"Oh shit."
He's like, "Sure, how's it work?" He showed me just like your buddy showed you, and I was driving around town with it.
What happened?
Nothing happened.
Oh, thank God.
Nothing happened. Nothing bad happened, but I wasn't comfortable on it.
Right.
So I took it around the side streets and did everything, and it's heavy for one thing. It's heavier than you think it is, and I don't even know if I was wearing a helmet. It was fun.
That's crazy.
But that was one and the only time I ever rode a motorcycle.
So I had to go to motorcycle school. It was like
you get a certain license now.
Well, yeah, no, I had to do the test online. I had to go to motorcycle school. They gave us a little bike that we drove around on, and then I bought the bike I have. So,
walk us through the process of the motor school thing. So, how much does it cost to enroll? And is there?
So I decided to enroll in Sherman, right? So it's
Sherman, Texas.
Yeah, smaller town because in town. Not only was it more expensive, but it was they were full. You know what I mean? Like almost like the DMV. There were appointments were way out. But Sherman was 250, maybe 250, and it was like relatively soon, right? So yeah, so
$250, and you show up for how many classes?
It's a weekend.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's a weekend. But I will tell you, he puts you through the ringer, man. I mean, everything.
How many people did he have in it?
There were maybe 10 of us.
That's $2,500 for a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had to have helmets and all the clothes, and they told us what we had to wear and all that kind of stuff. And
he provided the motorcycles.
He provided the motorcycles, and it was funny because it was a hodgepodge of different kind of people that were in the class. Right. Some of them were decked out in their leather stuff and wanted to do the. So they had a mix of motorcycles that he provided. They had the front crotch rockets where you lean forward, right, and your feet are back,
right,
and then they had the cruisers like what I have, where you sit back, right. So it was really interesting how the different.
Did you try a crotch rocket?
No. I went straight to a cruiser, and that's what I skate on the whole.
Those look uncomfortable to me.
No, it's great.
No, the crotch rocket.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've never been on a crotch rocket, but the cruiser was awesome.
Yeah.
So I love what I practiced on, and I love what I have now. But it was really interesting how different everybody, all the people that were there, different ages, young to old. There were different guys that had ridden motorcycles their whole lives, but had never gotten a license. So it was like a piece of cake to them. There were young guys who had driven motorcycles the whole time, and the only reason why they were there is because they got into a wreck, and they're doing defensive driving,
right?
To get rid of their ticket. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. So they were like, doing their thing. You know what I mean? It was really interesting. And for me, I was learning to ride.
It was the whole weekend. How many hours during the day? I mean, did you have to use?
I mean, it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday and a Sunday, and it was all day. So it was like 8 to 5, maybe both days, or 8 to 4 both days.
Was there any classroom work?
Yes.
So it's classroom, and then you're going out there and just driving around cones and.
And I will tell you, I mean, it was pretty. We did a lot. Like it wasn't a joke.
Could you fail?
Oh yeah, there was one guy that dropped his bike. He went down.
Oh really?
And everybody was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" This poor kid. I felt bad for him. He was a cocky kid that was like, just, not really talking it up, but like, yeah, whatever. I got this. And he was so intent. We were doing figure eights, tight figure eights, and because they need to teach you how to turn around in a tight situation, right, with your bike. And he was so intent on not putting his foot on the ground because it seems goofy, right? You put your foot down because you lose your balance, and then people are like, "Oh, really?" Well, he didn't want to put his foot down, and
he wanted to be cool,
and he went down. The bike went down, and the instructor was not happy, and he said.
Really?
He said, if you start to lose your balance, put your foot down. Don't put the bike down. And I was like, oh, God, I felt so bad for this kid. And he was literally like Dylan's age. He was like 23. Anyway, it was really interesting. And you know what's funny? Here's what's crazy. So then I get a much bigger bike. It's an 1138 cc's, right? And people are telling me, don't get a big bike. It's too much to handle. Like, make sure you get a small bike and learn on that first. Whatever. The bike I have now, way easier to handle than the bike that I trained on. Way easier to handle.
Really?
Yes. Crazy. Anyway, all right. So I kind of dominated the conversation with my motorcycle conversation. Anyway, let's go back to first.
Well, I mean, we were talking about first, but there was something that Jeff had brought up. I mean, there are so many things about first.
A lot of first. Yeah.
Jeff brought up something that I thought was kind of interesting. I think they're doing they're either proposing or they're building in Saudi Arabia, is it?
Oh, yeah, I saw something today, the 75-mile mirror city. Have you seen this?
So they're taking the concept of a condominium and they're stacking instead of having a community all spread out,
they go up.
They're stacking the community so it goes straight up in a line. Probably, I don't know what the dimensions are, but they're tall, like 180 meters tall.
The line revolutionary urbanism. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah. So instead of spreading the population out, they're forcing them.
That's awful.
Well, that's
but hold on. How is that different than a super congested, high rise?
So that's what
New
I was
York
thinking.
City.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
How's that different?
The thing is, they make it look all futuristic. There's green spaces. There's all this. It's just going to turn into
a revolution in civilization.
Yeah, this is what I saw.
So they basically take 10 square blocks.
Oh, what a nightmare!
Is it though?
Yes. I'd have no desire to live in that.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
I disagree.
Oh, God. All right. So what we're seeing here, they basically took all these simulations of cities that were spread out with high rises.
Terrible.
And they threw them together in one weird looking high wall.
So it's one big Lego wall. Inside the Lego wall,
oh no,
there's they've got vegetation on the tops, and it's an awesome way.
Well, I call bullshit to that because it's in the freaking desert. They're not going to grow trees on top, and I'd have no desire to live in
water.
that.
You are.
I think you guys are being a little negative.
No,
you know what this looks like to me?
I'd have no desire to live in that.
It looks like the Matrix.
You want to live in a camper that's fine for you. This is not fine for me. I don't want to live in a little cube.
But this is you. But there's already people that are living like this in condominiums and structures. And look,
this will never fly in the U.S.
Well, it may not, but it may. It's
100% renewable energy.
I mean, but think about it. I mean, look at it. I mean, there's.
I'm not sold.
I'm not 100% not sure. Not sold.
Equitable views.
Access to nature.
I think there's. I mean, I don't know if I would actually ever want to live in it, but I'm not saying no.
I am.
I'm out.
Does not interest me one bit.
This is creepy, futuristic. The world is overpopulated. We're all stuffed into tiny little quarters.
Here's the thing.
And you have whatever they have, and they have whatever you have.
Communism.
It's all world order shit where, they're trying to control the population anyways. And look,
you live here, you shop here, you work there, and this is all you need to know.
Wow.
No,
I don't think that's the concept of it.
Well, they said everything is within 5 minutes of walking.
Of everything you need, but does that mean you're not allowed to travel outside the building?
Are there cars?
It's carbon neutral.
How do you
no
get
cars.
from...
No. Everything is mass transit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to get within the community, but that doesn't mean you can't travel to like fucking Europe.
Yeah, you can. Are you allowed to leave?
Where's the airport?
I mean, it's not a prison.
Where's the look like a prison?
No,
it 100% looked like a prison.
Well,
Like
I
a
mean,
prison with
what
grass.
it looked like was
Looked like a nice prison.
It looked like a facility where people live.
Yeah,
You know, it looked.
I'm out.
What is the Austin? What is, like the
Looks like Judge
Disney?
Yes, exactly right.
The
Judge
City
Dredd.
Towers.
What is
City
the-
Towers.
what
That's
is the
exactly
show?
right.
What is the cartoon you watch all the time with the little robot that
What a
compacts
nightmare.
garbage?
What a nightmare.
Producer
Maybe it's good for people that want like a simple
Wally. There you go. It's like
a
it's like
simple,
the ship of Wall-E.
confined, constricted life.
Right.
Well, but you know what? Look,
You know?
ignorance is bliss.
I want
if you
5 to
don't
I
know
want
any
5 to-
better,
I want 5 to
you know,
10
you're
acres.
never going to know. I mean,
No,
Jeff
I
feels
get
that
that.
way because, you know, well, of course you. I mean, why would most humans that have grown up with free range will want to live like that? But if
Listen-
you don't know any better,
Time out. Listen to what you're saying. If you don't know any better. So you're talking about a futuristic world where a child is born into some sort of close quarters,
look, humans
weird
are
ass,
super resilient.
know,
We're
Judge
super
Dredd,
resilient. We can adapt to
Matrix world. I mean, come on.
You're
I mean,
talking
if
about-
they don't know any better, they'll accept it.
Yes.
We're not talking about it if they don't know
Dude,
any
we're
better.
not,
accept
we're not
it. World.
far from that right now.
I know that's sad.
That sounds like they
Okay.
don't know any better,
No,
so
we're
they're going
not
to settle
far
for
from
this.
that style
That's
of
exactly
living.
right. They
They're
don't know any
settling.
better, so they don't know it's horrible.
So they're settling.
But we live that way now. But instead of spread all over the planet, they're going straight up. So I don't understand what the difference is.
You don't have as much space.
It's the same amount of space.
No, it's not. Where's my yard? Where's my 5
It's
acres?
on the top.
Where's my
Yeah.
5 acres?
Yeah. What
well,
if
you
I
get to share
what
with
if
everyone
I want
else.
to fly a kite from my apartment?
Well,
Yeah.
there's no HOA laws that say
you
that
want
you
to
can't
bet
have
There'd be
your
all
own.
kind of
Oh,
laws
are
in
you
there.
kidding me? It's worse than HOA.
I'll tell you what.
It's your kind of
when
HOA.
I lived in Germany,
yeah.
the citizens of Mannheim, Germany, they would have a house. It'd be in the city. It would be tight. All of the houses are crunched together, and they're kind of like condos. And
Right.
they wouldn't have a backyard like you're saying. Your backyard was
Tiny.
out of the town, so
What?
they would have gardens, quote unquote, outside the city limits. So they would have a house, and then you drive for 10, 15 minutes, and they'd have lots where all they are gardens.
And that was your lot.
That was your lot.
Oh, how
And
cool is that?
was-
I like that.
It was specified. So you could leave your house, and you drive over there, and you have a little tiny, oh, shit, I don't even know, probably 30 yards wide, and this particular one is probably 30 yards wide, maybe 60 yards deep. Each one.
So 200 square feet.
No, yards, not foot. So it'd be more than
That's
200
huge.
square foot. It is huge.
Yeah.
So they'd have in the
Well, they don't have that there.
the folks. Well, we don't know what they have. This is just a concept.
Well, they don't have that there.
Well,
they're fly-throughs. They
This
have like
is-
little
Jeff, this
patches
is just a
of
concept.
artificial turf.
it's just a concept. But we don't know if that's
No,
turf or
it's
not.
No, it's Zoya.
All I'm saying
Zoya
is that
grass
it's
that
not.
can grow in
Well,
the
you're
desert.
bought in 100%. So
no,
Yeah, you are.
No,
So-
I'm
so-
just. It's
Hold on.
not.
Did you put a down payment on or no?
yeah, you invested already.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
I
do.
think it's horrible.
I think it's terrible.
No, I disagree. I think that I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd want to live there or not because honestly,
Okay, so let's
It's
revisit this
difficult.
one more time.
I don't want to live like that.
This
I don't
is
want to
Saudi.
live.
So this is Saudi Arabia, and
Oh,
it's
hold
called Neom.
producer, is there any
It's
audio
called
on this?
NE. It's called. Okay, hold on. Scroll down. 75 miles long.
It's a
mirrored desert skyscraper city in NEOM.
I see
Neom.
if we can find some sort of audio or video on there. What is that? A video?
Yeah, he just played it.
Yeah,
well,
he
he
did.
but
He
he
just-
didn't- we
We
couldn't
didn't hear
hear
it,
anything.
which is I was thankful
Well, it's some
for.
chick talking about it.
Long humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature.
Oh boy.
Now, a revolution
What makes you
Don't
think
be
this place
so
isn't going to get
negative.
polluted?
taking place.
Don't be so negative.
Imagine a traditional
Be
city
open-minded.
consolidating its
Not in
footprint.
this.
Why is this not in the
designed
Saudi
to
Arabian
protect and
accent?
enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we are designing it to
No, I'll
provide a
pass.
healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions.
I mean, what is that?
Residents have access to all
What
their
is that?
daily
Who
needs.
would
I don't want to live in a
want
canister.
this? Who would want this?
And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end to end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions.
Oh, thank God, 0 carbon emissions.
By leveraging AI technology, services are
AI.
autonomous, saving you time and effort.
Artificial
Designed
intelligence.
by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170
What happens when the
kilometers
terrorists
long,
rams or jet
and
into
housed
it?
within an
Oh
elegant
God,
mirrored glass
they
facade.
no, they have already planned for that.
Intelligent
They have a
solutions
deflection
create efficiency
system.
and year-round
Now, I
temperate
respect you guys not
microclimate,
liking it,
natural
but
ventilation.
I will say
Energy
this:
and water supplies
how is
are
this different than
100%
people who
renewable.
want to live in New York City?
The line
that's
is
my
designed
point.
as
It's
the
a
same
series of
thing.
unique
How is this
communities,
different? Seriously, Jeff, how is
offering
this
a
different
wealth
than
of
people that want to live in New
amenities,
York City
providing
or
equitable views and
any
immediate access to
downtown
metropolis.
metropolis?
Because
With
that's not
40%
75
of the
miles
world
long.
accessible within 6
But you
Right.
don't have to live there. It's a
Yeah, but
choice.
you don't have to leave your little borough, right, in this 75-mile long. How is it different than?
I guess-
I'm not changing my mind.
not saying-
I still think it's horrible. I would never live in New York City. I would never live in any metropolis downtown area. I wouldn't. I think it's the same as this. But honestly, it's not different, in my opinion. Not different than living in New York City or downtown Chicago.
No, I agree with you there.
Okay.
It's just, I guess it's a re-envisioning of what a city is.
A
Big city.
Well, think about it. People who live in New York City live in tiny little ass apartments unless they're filthy, filthy, filthy rich, right?
Right.
They live in tiny, dinky little apartments. They ride the subway everywhere or taxis. They don't own a
interest
car.
me either.
They don't own a car. I would hate that life.
But there are folks out there that
I would
flourish
100%
with that
hate that
type
life.
of
Well,
lifestyle, and they're happy and
well, I'm-
content.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying this does
and
not
more-
interest me.
more
Yeah,
power
well,
to
that's
them.
okay.
New York does not interest me. Living downtown anywhere does not interest
100%. 100%.
me.
Me too.
In a high rise or
Yeah, it's
downtown.
very interesting.
Anywhere.
Did you visit New York?
I've been to New York City, yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I was just in New York, and it was very interesting when you're in the subway.
That was your favorite place to go. You said it's your new home.
Yeah, you said it's prettier than Texas.
This is better than Texas.
No, it's not what I
He
said.
said better than Texas.
No, I was talking about my travels of northern New Jersey. When
Being better than Texas.
it was beautiful up there.
Mhm.
It's beautiful in Texas too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was beautiful there.
No.
And but the trip
it's
in
best.
New York,
Do we need to vote
being on
him
the-
off the island?
the subway
Is it time to take a
is
vote?
that
He's
they
a
were
lib.
they were like zombies in there. So you know,
exactly.
to play devil's advocate with what you guys are saying, you know, I could see how it could be a lot of rinse repeat
Yes,
lifestyles.
what a miserable life.
But you know,
In a metal box, living in a metal box, walking through a metal box city.
but imagine
metal.
Imagine if there were a purpose for it. So let's just say, what if it were a college, for example, and just say, hey, look, you need to go to college, and this is the college, and
Well,
that's
one thing.
What's that mean? Hold on. What do you mean?
Well, what I'm saying is that it's not your home, but it's a facility that needs to be highly managed structurally for your everyday life, every aspect of your life. Because when you're in school, you know you should be regimented. You should
Sure.
wake up at a certain time, eat at a certain time.
Yeah.
You should work out, go to school. I mean, you should have the schedule all laid out.
Yeah.
And I think that if you were to send somebody to a big university, that would be a cool university to go to because it's all inclusive.
Yeah.
Everything's there. You can't go anywhere.
It's all tightly congested
Well, every
and
university
available.
is self-contained.
You know
That's the
what?
way
So
it is
that brings up a good point.
I'm just,
No, I see where you're going with this.
You know,
so
there could be a
would
safety
you be
thing with
willing,
that.
if somebody said, you know what, you're a skeptic, right? I'm a skeptic about this neom, whatever, what
Neom.
neom,
NEOM.
NEOM. I'm a skeptic. We're gonna pay for you to live there rent free for 6 months, just to try it out. Would you do it?
For free.
For free. 100% for free. Everything. Literally. Food.
Sure.
100%
well, why not?
free.
You'd be silly not to take that up.
So how about a year? 1 year. 1 year of your life. Go to this place. 100% free. And actually, they'll pay you. They'll pay you $1,000.
I mean, the quality of life could be the same as we're experiencing right now.
Would it be so horrible that you wouldn't even try that? I would. I would try it.
I would try it.
I mean, think about the life we're living right now.
Because I knew there'd be an end to it, that I'm going back to my house.
Agreed. But maybe we would be surprised.
I don't think so. Because I think eventually these will turn into a shithole. It looks all clean and sparkly here, but I imagine these turn into a shithole.
Yeah. You know what it makes me think of? The movie Passengers.
Yeah,
where everything's confined.
I was thinking the same thing.
You're on a ship,
like
right?
Wall-E. You know the big ship. You know,
and like everything's like on a cruise ship. It's basically a cruise ship.
Yeah,
right.
Like which is great for
what is that one with?
But you're confined.
Oh my God.
What are you thinking of?
Media Card, redhead girl, Bruce Willis. Fifth Element.
Oh, nice.
I tell you what, man, that movie.
Great movie.
I love that.
I gave that
movie.
an A. I don't give a lot of movies an A. That was an A movie.
It had so many cool things going on that were so retarded, but it was so cool. There was
literally, when I say no flaws, it's hard to say that about a movie. It had no flaws from the perspective of it being plausible and stuff like that. No, I gave it an A, if not an A+. It was a fantastic movie.
It was
weird. It was weird with not Chris Rock. What's his name?
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker was a little over the top, but it was still funny.
But what is the girl's name?
Mila Jovovich.
Oh, Mila Jovovich. So she has a daughter.
Jovovich.
She has a daughter that is a carbon copy of her.
We have a new Lelu.
It's hilarious because she's holding the little ID card where she says, and she holds it up to the window and she says a media pass, and her daughter has the same eyes. Multipass. She has the same eyes, and she's saying multipass. The daughter.
I want to see that.
Yeah, Fifth Element was really good. It's one of my favorite movies.
Great movie
back in the day.
Multipass.
Oh man, I hope they have it.
She's in all the. Resident Evil. She's in all the Resident Evil.
Oh, I haven't seen any of those.
Scroll down. So it's basically
the same girl?
There's two people.
Nice.
It's the mother and daughter, and they're holding up a card. Look, the bottom line is that they look the same. She's got the hair, the eyes. Her eyes are so whimsical. They're so
distinctive.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
You like stare into her and see what she ate for lunch.
Wow.
Well,
that was
okay. Right there.
Weird.
That's it.
Oh, I see. How cute.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw. I thought that was cool.
Oh, it is cool. And she is a carbon copy of her mom. What a great picture. And she's cute. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but that movie, how many movies are there out there? We can always say, oh, Star Wars, and I'm a huge fan of that, but Fifth Element is different. I mean, it had that girl singing that song.
Yes.
Which... Okay, so you had her singing that song,
just like that.
Yes. But look, that song is sought out by vocalists to try to do because it was.
I've seen people actually do it.
They were, but that song was created synthetically.
Yeah, there's some ladies who have actually.
No, don't play that. Play, what's this song where he's playing right now?
We'll play that. Maybe we'll need to do a show with movie songs. Our favorite movie songs.
Whistle Pig Farm Stock Bourbon.
That's a great idea.
Good way to drink your night.
Holy shit.
We knocked out about maybe a third of the bottle. It's not bad.
It's rare that we've had an 8.5 bourbon.
Yep.
Just enjoy this. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure how the second half went.
I kind of faded.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I've been ill the last couple of days, so I kind of tanked out.
Stomach virus. I think we did okay. I mean, we talked about
you stink too, by the way.
Well, hold on, we talked about.
You stink. You smell.
I smell?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No.
I wash my taint.
Smelling my mic. Why am I smelling my mic?
I don't know. That was really
smelling
weird
my
to see
own breath.
too, though. It's like, what are you doing? Did you just lick it?
I don't know.
You just licked your Simblance screen.
Yeah, I'm smelling wonderful bourbon in my Sybilis.
Hey, look, this is the end of July, so we got August coming up. Thank God. We got one
more month of hell.
When is the peak? When is it going to come back down?
I've been told September is going to be bad, too. So it's going to be October, bro. We got 2 more months of this shit.
So God's going to blow the load somewhere in September when it starts coming back down.
I hope so.
All right, well,
I hope so.
Me too.
All right, well, dudes like us is struggling in Texas. Hopefully we won't reach 100 days straight. We're dudes like us. I'm Sean. Good night.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff. I'm out.
Very, very good night.